We good? Okay.
Start with the pledge.
All right.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take it away, everyone.
Okay. Welcome everyone to our first board meeting that started the school year here. So appreciate you being here joining us. I have one agenda modification tonight, and that's I'm going to label as item M under new business. Should be in red on your sheets there. It's accept the resignation. Brad Stamper is representative of the Blue River Career Center and elect a board member for Blue River Career Center. So I'm going to get more into that. Sure. Yeah. That's the only modification I have. Okay.
We'll go ahead and open the floor up for public comments. Anyone you four want to take a swing at it? Okay, here and now.
Okay. First we have consent items and claims, approval of minutes from the previous meeting. Ask for your approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the previous minutes.
I'll second. All those in favor? 7-0.
Next we have request the approval of accounts payable vouchers.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7.
Okay. You have in front of you the business and financial reports, the financial report, the cafeteria accounts report. Do you have any questions about anything you see there?
No.
Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. First of all, we have a recommendation to accept the donations and grants. We have a donation from Mount Auburn Christian Church in the amount of $50 for the Spartan Food Pantry.
Make a motion to accept the donation.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay. Item B, recommendation approval of strategic plan. I wanted to spend just a few minutes talking about the strategic plan, presenting that to everyone, and what we're looking at there. So we'll have information posted on our school webpage, social media, send it out via Parent Square as well on our plan if it's approved tonight. Our title of our plan is Building a Brighter Future. Just to talk about our process, we started our process back in December of 2024. We went through various things. We had initial discussion on vision, mission statements, came up with several mission statements. We gathered feedback via surveys from parents, students, and community, as well as the staff. We compiled results, presented those. We held some brainstorming sessions as well to gather some more feedback and maybe some focused solutions on what we could do to try to find some common themes of things we can do to help our school district. We presented the results and we used that data then to develop a framework for a strategic plan. We had a work session in July to talk about that strategic plan, and we hope that the plan will be published for at the start of our school year this year. So that's the process. Our vision is building a brighter future. We talked about building a brighter future, not only future of our school, our buildings, to make sure that those are functioning the highest, but the biggest thing is our kids and creating a better future for our kids. Not only while they're here at Southwestern, but more so when they go on and they're contributing members of society. Mission is to empower every student by providing exceptional opportunities, fostering a supportive community, and promoting innovative learning experiences. We're dedicated to building a brighter future in which all students can thrive academically, socially, and personally. So we talked about our plan. We have 4 key areas that kind of came to the forefront when we went through the process of surveys, gathering feedback, all of that information. The pillars we had were communication and community, engagement, accountability, and support. These were the areas that we identified that we need to focus in on and work on. So communication and community, just establishing consistent centralized systems to ensure staff and students that the information is getting to people in a timely fashion and an equitable information so everyone can see what we're doing as a district. Talked about streamlining platforms, placing expectations on communication for all employees, and then also communicating regularly with both students and parents as well. Some of the things we're looking at, we're going to be doing is creating a quarterly district newsletter, monthly newsletters at each building that will be posted on social media and the school webpage, and then staff will have expectations to communicate with parents on learning objectives at least once every other week. And the primary mode of communication for those will be Parent Square that we'll be using. And then coaches and extracurricular responsibles will be expected to communicate at least once per week in season. Our engagement portion is just engaging instruction, providing engaging instruction, and also making sure we have extracurricular opportunities available for our students as well. So I want to make sure we have engaging lessons for our students. Tailoring expectations and student experiences will be tailored to their needs. And then talked about life skills and developing some life skills for our students. Financial literacy, resiliency, hard work, respect, just a few of the life skills that we want to develop, and these will help students be successful after this, to succeed after graduation. The way we're going to do it is we're talking about engagement and progress monitoring at least once per quarter between administration and staff, making sure that we're involved in discussions on how we're engaging our students and what we're doing to monitor their progress. Looking at developing our work-based learning model more, and how we can get more students into our work-based learning programs. Exposing students at a younger age to careers. One of the items that we may be taking advantage of there is the Educational Service Center. They offer some things that we may be able to look into to get students interested in careers. We don't want students to make a decision on what they want to be when they grow up, when they're in 3rd grade, but we want to expose them to opportunities, the things they want to do. Looking at extracurriculars and making sure we stay relevant and match our student interests. And then the last one is just making sure that when we do IEPs and 504 plans, they're based on individual student needs. It's not based on, you're a student that has other health impairment for ADD, so this is what we give those students. It's what does that student need and making sure we're tailoring the needs to those students as well. So that's the engagement portion. Next we have accountability, just having clear structures and making sure we're using those structures to guide our decision making. We're tracking our effectiveness. We're looking at continuous improvement in a variety of areas like academics, behaviors, and extracurriculars. Making sure we're holding ourselves accountable. First thing is we want to hold the students to high expectations. Our students, we're going to find out later on, when we expect more out of them, they can achieve that. And so we're going to hold them to high expectations. And all staff is going to be accountable for student learning. Extracurriculars are involved in student success. Again, the data portion, the data is going to drive our instruction. And then we're going to use as a district responsible governance and financial practices to help the district continue to grow. How are we going to do that? Consistently enforcing rules and regulations. If it's in the handbook, we're going to enforce it. If it's a policy, we're going to follow it. And if we're not doing that, we're going to make those corrections to make sure we're doing that. Our grading practices are going to be based on student performance, and this can be a tough one, not only for staff, but also for parents and students. If you have, there's times where a student's grade, it's easy to base a student's grade on how great of a kid that is. For example, they show up to class every day, and if there's extracurricular or extra credit assignments, they're turning those in. We want to make sure that grade, while those things can contribute to grades, we want to make sure that the student's grade in that class is representative of how they're performing in that class. It's not based on anything else other than those standards and how they're performing in those standards. A big one is homework. If you have a student that's turning in all their homework and they're getting all their homework assignments correct, you would like to think that's going to have a direct impact, a positive impact on their grade and their knowledge acquisition, right? But you don't always determine who's doing that homework and where they're getting those answers from. And so we want to make sure that that grade in class is based on what that actual student knows. And it can be difficult. It can be hard sometimes. But if a student leaves a class with a B, we want to make sure that they have the knowledge of the student that has a B in that class. It shouldn't be based on how many homework assignments they turned in, or it should be based on doing extra credit. It should be based on the knowledge that they have in that course. So, and we like to say some of those things will contribute to that, but it should just be based on that knowledge that they have. We're going to talk about a new evaluation system centered on instruction, student learning, and improvement for our staff. Checking in regularly. Admin will be expected to check in regularly with sponsors and coaches, making sure they're getting what they need. We're going to track student mastery through the use of data. So we're going to figure out how we're going to track, again, going back to the data piece and making sure we're tracking mastery for those students. And then the last thing is tracking facility and technology needs, maintenance and past improvements. What have we done? What do we still need to do to make sure that we're not placed in a position where we're worried about replacing all of our roofs at once or replacing all of our HVAC at once, and trying to get ahead of some of that stuff. The last area is support, and just making sure that we have a supportive environment, not only for our students and our staff, but also for our community, and making sure we're placing them in a position where they can thrive. Staff will receive support that's needed. We're going to create a culture of safety, which I think we already have that. I believe we already are a very safe school, but there's things we can do to make ourselves more safe. And then support our students educationally and emotionally. We're going to provide some PD opportunities to our staff based on what our students are needing and what our staff needs to help deliver that information to our students. We're going to develop a clear safety plan with procedures for staff and students. We haven't had an updated plan. I think our last plan was updated in 2016 or 17. It's time. We need to make sure we have an updated plan. And that's something we'll work on to get through. And then clear procedures for students to report emotional and physical harm or threats. This can be tough because sometimes we tell students, if you have a problem, tell an adult. Let an adult know. Some students aren't comfortable with that. And what other ways can we have them report when things aren't going well for them? Is there technology we can use? Are there QR codes in the hallway we could place? Just exploring options on how students can report when things maybe aren't going so well. The last thing is, and this is a big one, is just celebrating our students and staff often via social media. We've done recognitions here in the boardroom. We've done building recognitions in the building, and then also our news media. I know the Shelbyville News is very, very open to having us send them things, and we need to be more responsive in getting positive things sent out, us telling our story, because we have a lot of positive things going on here. So we'll talk about some of those positive things later on tonight. So that's our strategic plan. Do you guys have any questions at all, or anything you want to talk about?
I just want to thank everybody that showed up, everybody that did the surveys, even taking 5 minutes out of your day to give input. The input actually was used. Like, it's not like we just went, oh, thanks, and then didn't. It was actually used. And that, it goes a long way to have the whole community build the strategic plan rather than just have somebody write something on paper. So I appreciate everybody that helped with it.
Well, you say that. I also want to give a special thanks to Jordan Bledsoe for, you see the document over there, and we'll post it on Friday social media and other mediums. But she did a great job developing the document, and we came up with what was in it, but pulling the pictures and just making it come together really nice. She did a great job. So commend her for that. So absolutely.
Quick question on it. What's the continued life
of this strategic plan? I'm putting you on the spot here, but what, is this a revolving door of updates? How?
So the way I look at it, it would be our 3 to 5 year plan. However, I think we need to continuously look at this every year to see how we're doing in a variety of areas. And if there's things that we need to maybe do differently or address differently, we address those too. So I think, to me, the plan it's fluid too. It's not solidified by any means, but this is our direction that we're headed. This is what we want to do for our kids. So, and I think if we do these things, I think Southwestern is going to look different the next 3 to 5 years too. So yeah, not that it doesn't look great now, but I think we all believe we can do better. So
noticing that this just says it's just this school year plan right now. So I assume that means that after the end of the year, we're looking at it just not like to start over. Yeah, but we'll just kind of look at it, readdress it, reprioritize things. Yeah. Yeah. I guess the 25, 26 to me just signifies that this is the year that we developed a strategic plan. Okay. So yeah. Anything else? Doesn't look like it.
I do request your approval now. If you have anything else.
That would be good. Do we have a motion to accept? Approve.
I'll make a motion to approve our new high quality strategic plan.
I second.
All those in favor? 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Next, we're going to do a recommendation on approval of payments to Tecton in the amount of $17,000 and Big Bend Builders in the amount of $32,000 for a roofing project, and I believe our roofing project is done too. So we're good to go there.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
we've done a lot of approvals for Big Bend as of late, so I think the last 3 months. But if we're done,
and it's all within the scope of what we approved in the beginning. So
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, with his question or statement. So they're done, but is this our final payment for the roof?
I don't know that it's our final payment. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
So
I know I went through and I added things up, and we were still below that amount that we had approved.
I just wanted to make sure that we don't make it sound like it is the final payment.
Right.
A month ago, actually, here we go.
And I think you asked a question
I was getting ready to.
last time about.
Yeah, perhaps. So there's holdback. So in the invoice sheets, there is holdback. So we're holding back a percentage of the fee, kind of a warranty type thing with them to make sure everything's good. I was going to ask how we're managing that holdback with Tecton. Is there a time period that we're looking to ensure that
I haven't spoken to Dustin about it, but I will.
That's a typical approach. Yeah. Is you hang on to that for a few months to make sure everything's good and happy, so that they answer the phone when we call them. Yeah. Kind of a thing. So.
I would have one request only because the roofs have been kind of an ongoing saga for the last 4 years. Would we be able to, now that this work is complete, get a diagram of our roofs and just say, like, break down into sections, like this section was done at this time, its lifespan is this. That way we can put that down in public record and it is known by all.
Yep.
So that it isn't lost.
That goes back to our strategic plan and saying, monitoring what we've done. Yeah, we can look into that. Yep.
Yeah, we can bolt it to the wall somewhere or something.
Let's not do that.
Wherever it's not to be lost.
Yep.
Okay. Look for that
I'll make a motion to approve the payments to Tecton and Big Bend Builders.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, I ask for a recommendation of approval for the agreement with Blue River Career Programs. This just changes the proxy and who's voting, who's the primary voters at the Blue River Board. In the past, we've elected a board member to represent Southwestern at Blue River. That was the voting person. If that person wasn't able to be there, the superintendent, now me, would be the person that's responsible for the vote. We've decided at Blue River to change that and have the superintendent be the voting member. And if the superintendent's not there, then the board member that's there will be the deciding vote. The biggest reason for that, we felt like think it was felt that the superintendents maybe are privy to some of the information that are going on in the buildings, and how that's functioning with Blue River, and maybe that they were the ones that makes that decision because of, that information that they have, what's going on. So, but the board members will still be a part of all the information given by Blue River. They'll still be in executive sessions and at board meetings. It just, the person that's voting will be the superintendent.
So with that makeup.
Yeah.
Just since the board member is kind of the outside guy now, is it possible, it doesn't have to be in that agreement, it can just be our own board, would it be possible that like any major decisions that will affect our school corporation come to our board as well
Yes.
before, that way?
And that's a good point, because that's one of the reasons we want to make sure we have a board member there so they can help with that process. If there's an item that maybe the superintendent doesn't feel that that's something that has to be communicated, and the board member does feel that there's another voice there, another person there to help with that information. So, yeah.
I know like when we did, Earlywood.
Yeah.
There were things that came to our board as a whole because they would affect, mostly financial.
Right.
They would affect our school district, and so it was brought to us before a vote was done.
Yeah.
And I'll say your exact point was brought up in discussion as we talked about creating this switch of roles here. Just as Jamie said, still full need of a board member to be there to witness and partake and understand all that's going on, and then of course bring back to their district board the happenings. Really just to have not so much a witness, but just another set of ears on what's going on with those activities.
Yes. It's good to know too. I think it's good to point out to everyone too that the Blue River, the board meetings are televised, or they're streamed, and they're recorded, so you can watch past meetings too. I encourage you to do that.
And we also realized that Blue River was the only career center in Indiana that was that way, and so not that we're trying to fit in, but it does make better sense for those more closely engaged with the day-to-day impact of that information that they're the ones voting.
Are those meetings still second Tuesday?
Second Tuesday, so basically Tuesday before our board meeting.
Thank you.
Amen.
Try not to cry.
No, come on, you want it.
I do miss the lunch.
I don't love, I just explained to him, I don't love the optics of that change personally. I'm not gonna be against it because I've not been involved in it, so I'm just voicing that to make myself feel better about the stuff, so.
Okay.
Having been on the board, I see the need for it. Number one, the board members aren't always able to attend the meetings, and the superintendents are paid to be at this stuff, so it does make sense. And then also the other co-ops that we've been a part of, it was the superintendent that voted.
All right, look for a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, I ask for approval of an overnight field trip, out-of-state field trip for the FFA, to do the Farm Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois.
Any questions on that?
We'll make a motion to approve the field trip.
All second. All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, we have the policies that are before you. I'm not going to read through them all. They're posted there. They're posted online as well. It's the policies that, just the updated policies. There is one in here that's the D250, the Teacher Appreciation Grant. That's the one that we removed because there's no longer a Teacher Appreciation Grant. We removed that at the last board meeting, so you can kind of cross that off there. Yeah, we're not asking for approval there, an update, it's no longer, so.
look for a motion to
I
approve
just
these.
want to point out real quick that lengthy list there is just from one year of legislation from the state that we have to make those changes. It's just a lot that the state level changes for us every year. I'm just saying.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Perfect, thank you.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
I would like to thank CCHH or Church Hill and Antrim for giving us those policies, recommendations, and changes. So, thank you to them. Next, we have recommendation approval for 6th grade students to attend the junior senior high school during the 26-27 school year. This is something we had discussed back in February or March, I believe. Just the elementary is growing. We're running out of space. We have some space at the junior senior high and moving our 6th graders over to the junior senior high next school year.
Could you talk through a little of the details that we talked about in March, just kind of rehash that on what that final approach procedure is going to be?
Let me do this.
While he's looking for that, I'm gonna ask, are we gonna be able to keep them separate from the high school kids?
That's the plan.
Yep, they would be in classrooms right next to each other, in a wing of the building. They will follow a different schedule. They will still get that 6th grade, more like a 6th grade experience.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think it's the hallway down by door 9.
Yes,
Still go to recess and all that?
yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll incorporate that in.
And this year, if it is approved, we plan to give them the same exit they would have gotten as 6th graders this year.
Mhm.
So they would have, they'd have a 5th grade field trip and they would have a 5th grade graduation. So all the things that we do as they leave our building in 6th grade, we would plan to do that with our current 5th graders because they'd be leaving our building.
Would the graduation be separate from the sixth grade?
Yes, I think that, well, hold on. I think so. We've talked kind of both ways, but we also it's a lot of kids and a lot of things, so.
So this is what we have right now at the elementary school. We have 3 sections, kindergarten through 3rd grade, and then 2 sections of 4 through 6. So if the numbers stay like this, we could be looking next year of offering 3 sections of K through 4, and then 2 sections in grade 5, just by looking at the same numbers we have here. We use the sensory room this year as a classroom. The one that was converted, the classroom is converted to a sensory room. It's not a classroom. We don't have any extra classroom space, so we're out of space. If we had an extra section, we're going to be out of space next year. So yeah, this is what we're looking at is K through 4 having 3 sections and 2 sections in 5 and 6. With having the 6th grade there, we're short 1 classroom. So if we move them over, we'll be looking at this. We'll actually create 1 extra classroom at the elementary school next year. So this has 3 sections K through 4, 2 sections at grade 5, and then the 6th grade at the junior senior high, which creates an extra classroom. So we're taking all the classroom space at the elementary school but 1, and that will account for any extra growth that we haven't seen yet either. And because that building is growing, we have 2 classrooms over at the junior senior high that are available that we can use. We have plenty of locker space over there as well, so there's room to accommodate that. So to me, that's the better solution than trying to add on or bring in portables to the elementary school that we just moved 6th grade to the junior senior high, and it's not unheard of. It's common.
This actually, from what I'm gathering, this is the common way. And, the junior high is 6 through 8.
Yeah.
That's
very common.
And also curriculum for elementary, when they go by that curriculum, it's K or pre-K through 5, right? K through 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I assume that when you go to do curriculum stuff, you probably look at the same situation. You have 6 through 8, and then 9 through 12.
And we also look at what's gonna transition well, you know, from one level, whether it's primary, intermediate, junior high, high school, you'll always look at that transition to make sure that it's a smooth transition from one curriculum to another, so. Yep.
Any other adjustments that are gonna need to be made in your building to accommodate, 40, 50 additional kids as far as cafeteria, other investments, or?
At the moment, not any major changes. It would just be fitting the pieces together.
Okay.
Yep.
So no other expansions or big movements or anything of that nature?
Sounds like a good idea to me. That's just my take.
All right.
Promotion.
As the mom of one of them, I will make a motion to approve moving those sixth graders over.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
Okay, next we request permission to post on the DLGF Gateway the notice of budget hearing. That we're gonna be doing our budget hearing on September 10th, 2025. DLGF is the Department of Local Governance and Finance. And Gateway is just the website we post the information.
Any questions on that?
Make a motion to approve?
Second. All those in favor? 7-0.
Next, we request permission to post our capital projects plan and our bus replacement plan on the district website. It's just a requirement that we have to do from the state. The capital projects plan, frankly, is outdated, because we no longer have capital projects accounts, so.
So can we dive into that just a little bit for a second? Because it gets confusing because we have to post this and it looks like we've got this money set aside in a separate account for capital projects. That's not the case.
No,
It's
it's not
just
the
like
case.
a guesstimate of what we will spend on.
It's just like if we had to, do some things to our buildings, this is what we could spend. Not saying we even have that money.
Yeah.
It's just, we
Correct
could
me if I'm
proceed
wrong.
doing, yeah.
Isn't it just that this is a holdover from prior
It is.
legislation? It's something that they
Exactly
got rid
what
of.
it is.
They got rid of these funds.
And
Yeah,
they
now-
all the operations.
Right. They got rid of the funds, but they didn't get rid of the
No, right.
requirement to post it. So
Yeah.
it's just a rubber stamp, more or less. So.
I'll make a motion to approve?
Second. All those in
I'm
favor?
sorry,
Yeah.
who seconded that?
Lou.
Thank you, John.
For rubber stamping?
You can
Let's move on.
pick it up. It is. This is what it is. This is what it is.
Thank you.
Next one's kind of a formality here because I think we've already had this, we kind of know what's going to happen here. Recommendation to appoint board members to attend the ISBA IAPSS fall conference, and I think the two we have is Derek and Daryl going to the ISBA conference in September. September, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love to have more of you, but I know it takes some time out of the day. So
I'll make a
motion to approve.
I'll second it.
those in favor? 7-0.
The next one, informalities, it's another one, request permission to start informal negotiations if we choose to do so with regards to our upcoming teacher's contract. And just so you know, we'll also be posting a hearing sometime in the future, when Matt and I work together on a date and time just for a hearing on formal negotiations. This is kind of formality again that we have to do where we open the public for any suggestions they have on teacher contract and changes that need to be made. So just recommend permission to start informal negotiations.
Real quick on that. In the past, we've appointed a committee for that. Is that something still needed?
I believe that's up to Dr. Wilkins if we appoint a committee to do that.
We don't have to do it right now.
Do we have to do it at all?
Let me check on that. We can do it in the September board meeting. We have plenty of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look for motion there.
I'll make a motion to approve informal negotiations.
I'll second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
You had a transportation route contract modification agreement in your packets. It's a change because we were told during our safety inspection that the contracted drivers can't drive their contracted buses for any extracurricular trips or any field trips held during the school day. Because they can drive our school issued buses, but they can't drive their own buses. Because they're not driving their buses, we had to change the terms of the agreement because they're now driving our buses. We aren't going to pay them for the wear and tear on their buses when they're driving our buses. So that's basically the change there. We're paying them an hourly rate versus a per diem rate for the 7 trips that we require our bus drivers to take. So just request approval for that.
Did you meet with them and
We did.
explain
We met
that?
with them. They're aware of it.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll start it. What's fair? 7 up.
But next, we probably should do this in 2 here. First of all, I don't know if it's really a resignation.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure what to call it, but Brad's no longer able to serve on the Blue River board because of just scheduling conflicts. He's not able to attend. Sure. And it was nice having him be a part of that over the last, 6 months, 7 months?
Not that long.
So, but you did get to experience several different things during that time too.
Very exciting. Very exciting. No, it's an incredible opportunity. Blue River is great. Jeremy Powers, the director, has been absolutely phenomenal, and they are really working for the betterment of the kids. So yeah, just due to work schedule changes for me, I can't be in Shelbyville in the middle of the day every second Tuesday of the month. So, and I'm not allowed to attend virtually more than 2 times in a row. So I can't do it.
So I don't know that we have to accept the resignation. I think we just reappoint a board member. So
I will sell this.
The
If you
food
can,
is phenomenal.
it is phenomenal. You get a full meal.
She's looking at you, Daryl. She's looking
Oh,
at you.
it's good. And it really is. I would do it again, but I'm not necessarily planning on running again. And so that kind of puts it in a position where I'm the one that has all the information.
You're good here.
And then
Yeah, you could do another
you gotta push somebody else into it. But it's really beneficial to understand how that career center works and what the kids are learning and why they change out what classes they're teaching there based on how much money people can make from the jobs and how many kids are interested. So I'm selling it.
It's an enjoyable time.
So I think the time commitment it's not great. I mean, there's not like a lot of time
No.
they commit to it. It's every
It's a lot easier to work with
Tuesday
them
a
than
month.
it is with you. So yeah.
Every Tuesday of the month for like an hour is the board meetings. So that's food included. So
Yeah.
Is there anybody that would like to do it? Let's just go right there. Cut straight through.
Come on, Daryl, you're looking at it.
I
Is there
probably
anyone
have to.
who's able to do it?
I can make 2 out of every 3 months for sure. Maybe more than that. But just
Can you appoint more than one?
I think we
I
can.
think so.
I don't think so either.
No, we just have to appoint one person.
I thought at one point there was an alternate available. But
I think
The
The
board member is
alternate
the
was
alternate.
the board member
The
is the
superintendent was the
alternate.
alternate.
yeah.
I can do it if there's nobody else that has the availability to do it. But
I'll make a motion to appoint Derek to that position on the
I'll
Blue
second.
River Board. There you go. Enjoy the food.
so okay.
Accept.
All right, that was two, we did the second.
Hey.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Handled. Brad just proved if you don't like it, just say that you can't make the meeting and make somebody else do it.
I'm clear. I was a Blue River student, so I can enjoy that part of the work. So.
All right. So next, reports and presentations. We're going to talk about I-Learn results this evening. We have our elementary and junior, senior high here to talk about I-Learn, how our kids did, and And we'll talk about at the end overall how we did as a district as well. So I'm going to turn it over to CC Go right now. If you want to step on up to the podium and present how our kids did on Island this past year.
So I am super excited to present this to you all. I do want to start though, I know this is about iLearn, but some iRead stuff came out of embargo today at about 11 a.m. and we are one of 3 corporations that had a 100% passing rate in the state. So there were only 3 that I saw on the list. Mrs. Hale and I were on a data excitement last night. I FaceTimed her as soon as I saw it and sent an email out. I get chills talking about it. These kids worked so hard and our teachers were phenomenal and are phenomenal. So I just wanted to throw that out before we started. All right. So for the elementary, we're going to start with math. This is the progression of percent passing overall in the building for the last 4, including this past year, but the last 4 calendar years. So you can see that there's been a really good growth in math at the elementary overall. Here's our comparison with the other schools and districts around. I know those are a lot of numbers, but 3rd grade is the number 1 in all of them. 4th grade's number 2, 5th grade's number 5, and 6th grade's number 5. But still really good. We have had Reveal Math for 2 years. Anytime you start a new curriculum there, especially with the older kids, you're going to see more gaps because there is a change. And they don't know all the pieces, whereas when you have the cohorts who get it younger, they're using it year after year. So, that's kind of one of those downfalls of new curriculum that you can't get past. The NWEA math growth goal, we did not do NWEA before the 23-24 year, but these are the percentages of kids who met that growth goal in math. And a growth goal, just so you know, is a personalized target for student progress, and it's based on their individual starting point. The goals are set using the NWEA growth norms, and they are derived from performance of similar students at similar levels.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
The previous slide, I'm trying to correlate the percentages. Is that correct to do? Southwestern 65% here, but we were 50% on the previous slide?
So this is all grade levels put together.
Okay.
Yeah, so this would be your 3 through 6, and this is the breakdown of where each of those grade levels are.
Thank you.
No problem. Sorry about that. So in the 24-25 school year, we did not meet our goal. We were 2 percentage points off of that goal of having a combined average of 52%. Super close, but we weren't quite there. At our leadership retreat right before school started with our leadership team at the elementary, we created our goals for this school year. K through 2, 85% of students meeting their NWEA growth goal in math. And 3rd through 6th, we want 55% of those students to score proficient or above proficiency on iLearn Math. So how are we going to do that? We're going to work on the more structured RTI process for math. We have a dedicated time in every schedule to have interventions in math, which is really good because with the new legislation starting next year, we have to have a tiered model for math intervention. So we're already a step ahead of a lot of schools with having that. We're on the right track. PD and the Reveal Math program from McGraw-Hill, but also just in-house, meeting the needs of teachers as they're teaching the curriculum. And then twice monthly meetings with an administrator to plan math instruction with grade level teams. So Mrs. Hale and I have weekly meetings with grade levels, and we're alternating those between reading and math every week. Moving on to ELA iLearn, so the reading. This is our progression 3rd through 6th grade from for the last 4 years. Again, really, really good growth. So 39, 44, 44, 46. Breaking this down by grade level. Again, just lots of numbers, but third grade is second, fourth grade is second, fifth grade was in that third position, and sixth grade was first overall. But I will tell you, in looking at state averages, math and ELA, we were either above or right at state averages for all of those. So we really knocked it out of the water in all four grade levels. NWEA growth goals. The first year we took it, 69% of our kids met it, and this past year, 83% of our kids met that growth goal. Yeah. Whoop, whoop.
I always like looking at the NWEA scores because that's their own personal
Yes.
growth, and so that's a huge number.
Oh, listen, it's so fun to look at. So excited. Our improvement goal for last year was having grade levels meet 75, their goal. We made goals for each grade level on reading growth goals. 2 of our grade levels met it. They were all pretty stinking close to that. So knowing that we were close and knowing that 2 grade levels met their goal for those growth goals, we as a leadership team talked through these 2 goals. So K through 2 is going to focus on growth goals, having 70% of their students meet that. And then 3rd through 6th, we looked at proficiency on iLearn, ELA assessments, and 42% is what we would like to see overall in the building. To do this, we will have ongoing professional development with the Open Core program. That is our new curriculum that was purchased. We appreciate that. We're just starting it, but seeing some positives I'm hearing some good buzz with the teachers on that implementation. And we already have our first follow-up with McGraw-Hill scheduled for September. So they will be coming back in, that's part of that contract, and they will be continuing that professional development as well as what we do in-house. We're going to be creating a list of blue and red to narrow down the focus of the Open Court program. So basically think like red and green things, like green I honestly cannot remember which one we said was which, but one you have to do, they are non-negotiable, and the others, if you can get to them, that's okay, but in this implementation year, it's okay if we're not there because we can add that in the next implementation year. A lot of times when you have curriculum that's as intense as Open Court, it takes about 3 years to really get all of the parts really set, where teachers are able to implement them all well. So we're doing it with fidelity, but there are some pieces that take a little bit longer to get put in there. So we're going to create that list. And then again, those twice monthly meetings with the administration. And that's the elementary. Any questions?
No, it's all really good stuff.
That's great.
We're so,
Being that I'm kind of a data nerd too, would it be possible for that to be shared with us as well? Some of that stuff.
Absolutely. I will
That'd be
get
great.
that shared with Dr. Wilkins and he can push it out.
Love it.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And gal.
Keep up the
Thank
great
you.
work.
Next, we'll have Mr. Tindall report on iLearn at the junior high.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that front page you're seeing there is a breakdown of the iLearn scores for the surrounding schools, and I put 10 on there, okay, 10 including us, just so you can see a different variety of schools that are around us, different sizes and how we compare to them. At the top, you have the math scores. The first line there is your state average. So 7th grade is 35.9%, 8th grade is 34.5%. And Dr. Wilkins is going to talk about corporation here in a little bit. But you see our scores are next on the line. That's 43.9% proficiency in 7th grade and 5.7% proficiency in 8th grade. That is a group that we've struggled with in the 8th grade. for several years. If we were to go back 3 or 4 years, that number has been fluctuating between 5 and 15%. I'll get to that here in a minute when I talk about new curriculum. All right. But we were above state average in 7th grade, almost 9%, well, right at 8 percentage points, which is great. When it came to how they performed against surrounding area schools, the 7th grade was second out of 10 comparable schools. 8th grade was dead last. And then corporation, as a whole, we were 4th out of 10. Okay, so, and you can see in there a lot of different size schools, but they're still in our general area. And I thought that would be good to kind of look at how we compare to them. And I'm pretty happy with our 7th grade, obviously thinking about the elementary, having implemented that math curriculum for now on year 3, we're going to start seeing that. Okay, especially now that we are going to be an extension of that, using the same curriculum that they have used in elementary as well. If we scroll down to the bottom there, we have our ELA scores. Our ELA scores have always been strong since I've been here. I look back 10 years and they were strong prior to that. State average for 7th grade was 37.9, 8th grade 42. Our score for 7th grade was 46.3, almost 9 full percentage points higher than the state average. In 8th grade, we were 3.5% higher than the state average. Very strong scores there. Very happy with where we are there. And those have hovered right around that 45 to 50% range for the last 4 or 5 years. So we're in pretty good shape. When it comes to how our ELA performed against the other schools, 7th grade, we were 2nd out of 10. 8th grade, 2nd out of 10. And as a corporation, of those 10 schools, we were number 1. So very strong ELA, very happy with that. There is a transition period here that's happening with our new curriculum. Obviously, there's going to be some growing pains as we go throughout the year, but we hope to continue to see those types of results on our iLearn now that we embark on the 3 checkpoint iLearns throughout the course of the year. It's going to change up the game a little bit. So if you flip over to that backside, you'll be able to see that and how that's broken down by number of students. And so when we look at that 8th grade math, let's focus on that. I'm pretty happy with the strength that we have in 7th grade math right now in our ELA. If you look at that second line with math grade 8, right there at 5.7%, okay, rounds it up to 6 on that graphic. Look at the next part with that yellow. That is approaching proficiency, okay? And that's what we want to focus on as these kids go into their freshman year. Their next test is going to be that SAT come 11th grade. And so we have some time to work with those kids there to turn those yellows into green on the SAT. I will also say that as we embark in the new curriculum, when I went to remove all the old texts from the classrooms, I'm pretty sure my jaw hit the floor as I'm going through these textbooks and seeing the content that was in the textbooks in comparison to what's on the new curriculum. I'm just going to say it. There was probably no way that our teachers could have been successful in teaching and having success on iLearn with those textbooks that we had in there. So we definitely made the right decision. Moving into the new curriculum, already watching a couple lessons today with our 8th grade math teacher, it's completely different. And it's a breath of fresh air to see a new curriculum be able to provide the resources to our teachers that they're going to need to find success, not only on iLearn, but also in their instruction in the classroom. So I'm really looking forward to that and seeing that continue to grow throughout the course of the year. When we look at what kind of goals we have, that new curriculum and instruction, not only is there going to be some growing pains, but there's also going to be a lot of things that we need to provide support for. And that's going to be through collaboration and professional development and laying that out with the math team and the ELA team to see what their needs are and provide them support for what they need in the classroom. Implementation of the iLearn checkpoints, okay? It's not just going to be one test at the end of the year. It's going to be several different tests throughout the course of the year. It allows us to be able to give targeted intervention to kids. So they can take it twice during a window, if you will. And so that if they do not pass it the first time, we can provide targeted intervention to be able to support those kids, and then they could take it to show growth or to hopefully be able to pass it that second time. So there are so many different opportunities that we're jumping into this year that is just going to lead to better success. And I say that specifically around that grade 8 math, is we're going to be able to get data up front and use that data to provide targeted intervention for those kids. So that's where we're at. Any questions that you guys have? Roll.
That's me. Okay, so I'm going straight for that answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, right? Okay, so there's 33 students in 8th grade, is that correct? Is that the
Correct.
number? Okay. Does that include our students that have learning disabilities?
Yes.
Okay.
That is every single student in the 8th grade.
Okay.
Yes.
So then my other question would just be, as far as like, you mentioned the curriculum and the teachers having trouble teaching it. Were they shocked by the number, or did they see it coming? Like, to have that low of an understanding, I'm just wondering, like, was there any point throughout the school year last year where they were like, ooh, maybe we need to do something different, or did they think that the kids were understanding
I'd say
it?
that conversation happened 2 years ago.
Okay.
And when we started having this conversation about needing new resources. Yeah, so no, I shocked that it's that low, absolutely. Knowing that it was going to be low is not a shock.
So these kids, I mean, this grade level, they're lacking fundamentals.
100%.
Yeah.
And they never had anything in elementary either in lieu of math curriculum. So, you know, that they're behind the 8 ball.
Are we finding a way to meet them where they're at to backtrack and teach those fundamentals at this point?
Yes, and that's what the new curriculum allows us. Day one, when they jump into this new curriculum, they have to take a diagnostic test that shows the skills that they know and the skills they don't know. And that's where that targeted intervention, our own time as well, be able to hone in on those skills. You know, not just in targeted intervention, but, you know, that they want to be lifelong learners. And if they find that they're deficient in some areas, that they're going to be motivated to do those things. And that program is going to be allows them to do so. They don't have to do it just in class. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Set those back. Do you feel that we've got enough time in the day for these kids to give them enough attention, whether it's individual attention, group attention, however that is, to get them improved? And are we planning to get fully back on track? You know, with back into the back into the 30s or 40%.
Yeah.
In 1 year, what's the turnaround time thought there?
Well, so we have to kind of change gears here because they don't have iLearn anymore. If we're talking the 8th graders, freshmen now, they don't have iLearn anymore. So we now have to change that to PSAT and SAT. So getting that data back from PSAT to see where they're at on math is going to be able to provide us with the data that we have or that we need to get them where they need. So it's not like we're looking straight at iLearn now. We're now trying to changing those gears towards the PSAT, but we will have data coming in that is going to be able to get them where they need to be. So yes, I would say the hope is, I don't want to say by 11th grade, but to progress 9th and 10th grade so that when they get to that SAT test in spring of their junior year, they will be where they need to be successful on it.
Okay. I was still just wondering, do we have enough time in the day? Is there additional time needed?
Yeah, a lot of time for like remediation.
Yes.
Yeah, tutoring sessions and things of that nature.
Yeah, so I would say that there will be time that they're going to be pulled out for those targeted interventions.
Okay.
Okay, so is there time? Not always, but we'll make time, whether it be supervised study or pulling them out of a specials or pulling them out of a gen class, you know, those things that, yes, they need, yes, they're earning credit, but they're not a core content area, and focusing on those core content areas are clearly where we need to be. So when time is not available, making time to be able to provide those interventions.
Shocking, I have another question. Okay, the diagnostic tests that you were talking about with is there any way that they can do those every year? to give kind of like an I learn, like a here's where they started, here's where they're at now?
So as they work through skills, that automatically updates.
Okay.
So let's say that your daughter went in and worked on one of those skills. When she became proficient in it, it takes it off the list of need to work on and puts it down here, and it changes her pie chart.
Okay.
Okay, so as they go through and they're learning skills and they're going through the core curriculum, that's going to change automatically. So the need for that wouldn't necessarily be there. I am not for sure on that question of if they come in next year, if they'll have to take that diagnostic. I'm not for sure.
I'm just wondering, like, with using that to give us an idea, since we don't have another test until PSAT, is there a way to use that to kind of track where they're at?
Right, and that would be the everyday instruction piece, you know, and us as administrators meeting with them and talking through their data that they have for their kids, and the teachers working with us and the student to who needs to be identified for those interventions to occur. So it would be a weekly thing that we would be looking at those data points.
And that's an ongoing discussion we'll have too, how we're tracking our progress, especially at the senior high level, because there's really not a whole lot out there as far as standardized that you can use, and not standardized as the be all end all either. But I think you want to see where you stand compared to others, and relying on just like the SAT probably isn't the greatest marker. So what else is there available? And that's something we're going to be looking into this year. Try to identify some of those.
That was my thought process there. Just, you know, I mean, we're failing these kids. We have been for years, it looks like. And so can we make sure that we are tracking that progress to make sure that they are getting where they need to be before we say bye? That was my line of thinking with that. But that answered it. I mean, as long as there's a way to track that they are mastering the skills, then we'll know.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And that goes back to our strategic plan. I just moved it here, data drive our instruction, you know, and using that data to drive informed instruction for our kids.
With that, you know, you talk about mastering instead of using homework data and other types of data points. It's more, you know, their true proficiency in the material. How is that getting tied together with, you know, our data-driven judgment of passing with this type of information?
I think one thing that the curriculum offers us is maybe a better way, or a way to assess our students. You're always going to have local assessments that you develop here, but this maybe gives us a local assessment with the assistance of a textbook curriculum that can maybe give us something a little bit more informed of where we need to be. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Just giving us more information.
Okay.
Like John said, I mean, we're setting students and teachers up for failure when you're giving them a textbook that's frankly outdated.
Oh yeah, it was a no-brainer.
And that, you know, you're expecting them to work miracles with this, and it just, we didn't set them up for success, and I don't think we're moving in that direction, so.
Good.
I got a two-part question for you, Dr. Wilkins. Have you ever seen a group that bad versus their immediate peers, and what was done to help improve? You've been in education for a long time.
I haven't personally in my own building that I was a part of, but I have had groups that struggled comparatively with other groups. And sometimes that happens where you get a group, and that comes down to making sure you have targeted interventions and you're working with those kids on those areas in which they struggle. You can't expect, you know, a group that's in the past been performing at 10% proficient and expect them to go to 60% proficient in 1 year. I don't know that that's realistic. But I don't think you focus on that as much as helping each individual student and getting them what they need. But I mean, I've seen scores that low in other districts before, in one grade level. Frankly, I've seen scores that low across the whole district before. I think the one thing that we're trying to do here is we see that's a problem. We've identified that's a problem. Now we're working to try to fix that problem. Where if we just said, we see that problem, we've identified that's an issue, let's keep on doing what we've been doing. We see that there's changes we have to make, and I think we're moving in the right direction. Are we going to get there in 1 year? Probably not. I don't know that that's realistic. But I think identifying that area and knowing that we need to make some changes, that's what we're doing. So.
Yeah, Brad,
That probably doesn't answer your question totally, but.
about time in the day, are we maxing out every resource possible for these kids?
I mean, to say we are maxing out our resources right now, if I said yes, I would be lying to you, because we don't know exactly what resources we have available. I think it's something we have to consistently look into and say, how about we do this different? How about we make a change here? How about we can pull that student at these strategic times, working with an individual that can help them with some remediation and finding those things. I don't know that you ever max it out. I think you're always consistently looking for ways to get the most out of your kids. So, yeah.
I'm sure I speak for everybody on the board when I say this, that if there are any resources or anything is needed,
yeah,
I'm sure we're all in.
Yeah.
And we started that. I mean, that's what we did last year. We started that process.
If you come back to us next month and have some outside the box idea, it requires X, Y, and Z, I'm sure we're not going to hesitate. So.
Any other questions for John?
Thank you.
I did want to point out that I showed the staff this during our staff day. We did have some, I think, pretty big successes here. When it comes to, obviously, I-READ is huge. To have 3 districts in the state that had everyone pass I-READ that's phenomenal. And be one of those 3 districts, it's great. Our math island proficiency as a district, last year we were at 32.5%, and this year we're 42.7%. We improved 10 percentage points in proficiency in 1 year, and that's with that one group performing at a 5.7%. So if we got them up to 30%, who knows where we would be then. Last year we were second to last among the 13. I compare us to kind of 13 school districts around us. The ones that Cece had mentioned, and even schools like Bartholomew County, Clark Pleasant, which is Whiteland, Franklin, and we had moved from up to 6th. So we're second to last year, and we're 6th among those schools. So we're making some strides there. Are we where we want to be? No, but we're getting there. And then English language arts, we increased our proficiency from 42.5% proficient to 46.3% proficient. So if you compare us to the 13 districts around us, we're top. We're performing better than all those districts, which says something. So there were some successes here as well. I know we've identified areas that we need to address, but it's also important to identify the areas that we're doing really well as well. So, yeah. So
continue to keep our foot on the gas in those areas.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of questions about the I-READ. So the kids take it in 2nd grade, and if I throw you a question that you don't have an answer to, don't feel like I'm like, oh, it's totally fine. I'm just, they take it in 2nd grade. Do we know how many of those kids passed it in 2nd grade?
I cannot tell you the exact percentage off the top of my head. I can get that to you.
Okay.
It was, I'm almost positive it was over half in 2nd grade. I want to say we only have 18-ish students who will need to retake as 3rd graders this next year.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I meant for those scores. The 100% pass rate.
Second grade is not included.
Okay, so that is
it is
all passed this year.
correct. So
Perfect.
the 100% pass rate, the state only looks at third graders. Second grade is kind of that first opportunity to see if they can pass, and then if they do, they don't retake in third grade.
Okay.
It just goes into that they've passed it.
So second grade is included for us because all of our kids they finish third grade with passing on Ivy.
Yeah.
So I just wondered how many.
They are for us. They're figured in there. That our kids that passed the second graders, and then the ones that didn't pass, they did pass as third graders. So that's everyone.
With it being something that they have to pass now or else they are supposed to be held back. I was just wondering how many we had come into third grade for that one that hadn't passed yet that then had to
take it. I want to say it was around 16.
Okay.
In the first attempt, because they do have a second attempt to retake, a summer retake, we had 3 not pass the first time this past year. We did targeted interventions with them as soon as we got those scores from then until the end of the year. And then the second to last week of school is when we did the retest. We tested them all individually and kind of at a pace that was good, and all 3 of those third graders passed.
That is awesome, especially on a year where they've changed it to if you don't pass, you're supposed to be held back.
And those were some hard conversations to set up, like when you do have to call and say, this is where we are, these are our next steps, that's really hard to tell a parent when you've never, obviously we haven't had to do that before like that, but those kids, they went in and kicked butt, and our staff that were doing interventions and those it was a team effort there. So
and I think it's important to know too that a student who has, let's say they have an IEP or reading issues or any issues, but learning disabilities, they get what's called a good cause exemption, where if they don't have so they have to pass to move on to the next grade level. All those kids pass.
Mm-hmm.
So, frankly,
they
didn't
have to pass to move on to 4th grade, but they did anyways.
And another consideration with that is that anyone with an IEP for reading, it's not read to them. So even though they have that accommodation, like on iLearn, they do not get that on iRead because it is testing their ability to read. So all of our students with IEPs that passed did that by reading the test on their own with nothing being read to them.
That's amazing.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal.
All good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I see everywhere's got great improvements. We just got one grade level that needs some work.
Yeah.
So.
Anything else? You guys have any questions or comments before I get on to the personnel?
No.
All right, personnel. We have 2 resignations here. We have Gabe Uni and then Haley Batts, both of instructional assistants. Gabe was at the elementary and Haley was at the senior high. Request approval for those resignations.
Make motion to approve.
Second. All those in favor? Set up.
Okay, next I'm going to go out of order here a little bit because the first one, first one that I want to talk about is item B on your sheets. Recommendation to hire Jennifer Simpson as instructional assistant at the elementary school. And I think Dustin will probably want to abstain from the.
Yes. Yeah, I'll abstain from that vote.
Well, so just ask for the approval.
Make a motion to approve. I'll make it. Second. All those in favor? 6, 0 and 1. There we go. We'll do that.
And then if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to do the rest of them together.
Yeah.
So we have a recommendation to hire Amber Fiesbeck as an instructional assistant at the elementary. Hire Kimmy Ayers as a virtual speech assistant at the district. Hire Angela Ansfall as a 3rd grade teacher. Hire Megan Ramsey as the 8th grade volleyball coach. Recommend to hire Courtney Dockery as 7th grade volleyball coach. Hired Devin Razor as the junior high head coach, and hired Joel Parker as the junior high soccer assistant. We also have a recommendation to hire Natalie Nolting as the counselor at the elementary, and recommendation to hire Matthew Harrison as maintenance.
Any questions?
I'm gonna make a
Concerns?
comment, and I'm not gonna get too far into the weeds, but just with those IREAD scores that we just saw, I sure hope that when all the stars align, we have a position open for the third grade teacher to come back in.
Look for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the hires.
Second.
All those in favor? 7-0.
I do want to point out that we don't need a vote on this, but just that we have 4 positions just retaining, and thought it was important to see that Taylor Meredith will be a varsity soccer coach, Kendall Mangrum varsity cross country coach, Derek Suits will be the junior high cross country coach, and Gary Muldoon will be the girls varsity golf coach there. So again, don't need a recommendation or anything.
So those do not need voted on as
No,
long
they
as
don't
they're.
need voted on
Okay.
because
That was confusing in the
Yeah.
past, and then we voted to rehire, and sometimes we didn't vote to
Right.
hire.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate you putting
That's
it
all.
on there.
Yeah.
Because, that way it's
Yep.
at least being transparent, so.
Thank you.
And the last thing we need to do is receive approval of conflict of interest forms. This is for Kevin Blackwell. This is Jessica Blackwell's husband. He does some mechanic work for us here from time to time, and he also we've hired him in the past to help with some lawn work that's been needed. Not that we're going to do that this year, but just want to make sure we're covering our bases. And then the other one is for Jennifer Simpson, because she is the wife of Dustin Simpson. That we have a conflict of interest form there as well that we'll have signed at the end of the board meeting tonight too. So
I understand completely what Dustin, but why do we need a conflict of interest going forward?
can you answer that?
Jessica?
Because we're paying her husband to do work for, just because
Right.
because we can hire any mechanic to do it, why are we hiring him? If you guys are aware that we are
Right.
using her husband.
I'm glad we're
To do
doing it.
that.
I'm glad we're doing it.
Yeah.
I was just curious why that
It's
was.
just a transparency measure, pretty
Way more
much.
educationally and intelligently than I can. So thank you.
I mean, it's simply
Right.
for transparency, right?
Absolutely.
And I will comment that it is totally normal for staff members to be related to board members.
Especially here.
Yeah.
Very small community.
Right.
But just to clarify, I mean, that's normal.
Right.
There's not gonna be favoritism.
We would disqualify everybody. You won't have anybody to pick from. So.
We need to vote on that.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Do I
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Oh, 6-0-1.
She'll be happy.
All right, my portion, you're probably sick of me talking, I know. Couple things here, August 25th, if anyone's interested, I'll be speaking at the Shelby County State of Education at Shelbyville Middle School. I think it's at 7 o'clock on August 25th with the other county superintendents and Jeremy Powers at Blue River will be speaking. So preliminary, just real rough numbers. I just pulled them from Power School, and I think we have kids in Power School that may still need to be taken out, but rough numbers right now is, it looks like our enrollment, kindergarten through 12th grade is 607 students, which is up from the 587 that we had in the spring, but I will say it is down from the number we had last fall. So just to give you an idea where we stand at with our enrollment numbers, and like I said, those numbers will change between now and count day, which is October 1st, but just real quick preliminary numbers. This doesn't count preschool, which preschool I think we have 53 kids, something like that. We have over 50 kids in a preschool, so.
Once you get those numbers back from count day, can you bring us the breakdown of in district versus out of district transfers. Just
Yeah,
for,
I can.
just to see
Yeah.
where we're at versus
Yeah.
last year.
I hope to update, remember last year I presented enrollment numbers in the spring. I plan to do that every time we have a count day, just kind of so you can see where we stand at that moment. It may not be right after the account day, depending on, but it'll be soon after.
Yeah.
That
I
you'll see
appreciate
those,
that.
so we'll present those at board meetings, so in case they're aware.
Thank you.
The public's aware too. Yep.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
On the.
That's all I have, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
Daryl?
I want to thank everybody for coming. And then also, I already said I won't be running. Not that it's like the worst thing that ever happened, but it's been a really long 18 months. And I'm not done yet. So I was wondering if there's any way, when I came on, we did a board training. And it was open to the public. It was with,
Yes.
from ISBA. And it was just us and Matt. And, but I wondered if we could do something like that in the coming months, even, January, February, before people have to decide if they're going to run or not, just to give them an idea of what the job actually is, because a lot of people think that we can just call the superintendent and get them favors, and that's not an option. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands what actually happens and what we have to do per state legislation versus what few things we actually have control over as a school board before they decide they want to run or not. Is that something that we could do? Is that something that you guys would be interested in?
The ISBA offers
doing
that for like candidates even.
Yeah,
they
They offer training
They
for
do.
people.
Yeah.
I just felt like the in-person, I did it twice, honestly. I did it here and then they held it at the Strand as well. I felt like the in-person was a lot better, got you a lot more information than the webinar that they do.
Yeah, and we could do it as a work session, that would be a little more open for them to be able to partake in that conversation. And also.
So you would foresee it like outside of a board meeting, like Derek said, like a work session or, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like, I'm pretty sure everybody in the district knows at least one of us to call and ask also, so anybody, anybody's interested, feel free to reach out to us.
I did a new board member training with, John and Daryl last year. Were you there?
I was there as well, yeah.
Yeah. So I at the very least we could do that, and that we just talk about what the duties are of the board, what the the differences and executive session versus a work session versus a regular board meeting, and yeah.
I
We
think
could
that
definitely do something like that too. Yeah.
even people who have zero interest in running, that like to keep up with what's going on,
Yeah.
it might be beneficial for the public to understand all of that.
Totally. Yeah.
And then maybe the next person that sits in my seat won't deal with people saying they're a horrible person on the internet for doing their job.
And also, it may not be a horrible thing for on the board page us to have I'm sure there's a document that ISBA probably has that is a summary of what our role is.
This is what a board member does. This is
Right.
what they don't do.
Yeah. That way,
Do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a horrible thing.
And with that, I'll shut up.
You sure?
Maybe.
To second your thank earlier for the strategic plan, I very, very much want to give an additional thanks for the strategic plan, all the efforts from the community that were put in. But Dr. Wilkins, you did a phenomenal job orchestrating that activity. So thank you for bringing that together. It's a great product.
I'll be honest with you, when I first had to do knew saw there was a need to do the strategic plan, I had no idea where to start, what I was doing, so.
No, you did great.
Relied on some other people to help me with that, relied on the board to help me with that, community to help me with that, so it's due to a lot of other people
And that's
giving
something
me support, so I appreciate it.
since we got on, we wanted to do,
Oh, yeah.
and it's taken this much
No,
time.
it's great to see it done.
Yeah.
So let's keep it as a living document, but again, well done and thank you.
Thank you.
I want to go back to test scores. I know this past spring we were sitting here and we were all very nervous with some of the stuff we were seeing, and seeing this tonight makes me proud of where we're at, where we're going, and teachers, administrators, pretty cool stuff. So,
Yep.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, John.
Yep, ditto, all that stuff. I mean, the path we're on right now is, far cry 4 years ago, so thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn.